Good morning, all. Shubhra Dubey, ma'am, currently she is working as a project engineer in NIELIT Gorakhpur. She has completed her MTech in Embedded System and Technology from Amit University, Lucknow in 2020 and BTech in Electronics and Communication from ITM Gorakhpur in 2017. Her main research interests are quantum dot cellular automata, IoT, etc. And currently she is working in project of robotics process automation using UiPath at Gorakhpur.
Thank you, sir. In yesterday's session, we have learned about the introduction on robotics, process automation, and UiPath, and installation details of UiPath. Now, I request our resource person Shubhra Dubey ma'am to start today's session. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, all. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. So, with this, I'm going to start our today's session. And please give me a confirmation whether my screen is visible to all or not.
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you, sir. So once again, a very good morning to all of you, and welcome to our day two and the session two. So our today's session is all about the variables, argument, and control flow activities, right? So in our today's session, we are going to see what are these variables, how we can create these variables, arguments, and in last we will discuss about the control flow activities, which is going to actually help you to automate your further processes, right? So So the agenda for the today's session is first we are going to see the variable panel inside of our studio, and then we will discuss some types of variables. Then we will see how we can use the arguments inside of our workflows, and then in last we will discuss some directions of argument and the control flow activities. Right. So this is our agenda for our today's session. So here's the our first topic, the variable panel. So the variable panel enables you to create a variables and make changes to them. Renaming a variable in this panel automatically updates all occurrence in the current file, right? So from this figure, as you can see that the shortcut key to create a variable is Control plus K, right? And so the next question is how to create a variable. So variables cannot be created if the designer panel does not contains at least one activity, right? So this is the very important thing to consider, that variables cannot be created if the designer panels does not contains at least one activity, right? You can create a variable with the help of the following methods: by using the options of a context menu, from the body of an activity, from the variables panel, right? So now let me show you. So here I'm going to create one process for day 2. So you can also rename your process, and here you can provide some descriptions, right? And now we are ready to create our process. So as you can see, this is our main XML file, right? I have already give you the introduction to this XML files. So this is my main XML file, and as you can see, no activity is on my XML file here. And so the second question is how you can create a variable, right? So this is your variable panel here, right? So let me open my variable panel, and as you can see, select an activity to set a variable scope. So if you want to create any variable inside of this variable panel, the first thing you have to do is you have to select any of these activity, right? You have to use any activity here on your designer panel, then only you are able to create a variable here in variable panel, right? So as you can see, I'm not able to create any variable here. So just let me select any activity here. For example, I'm going to select sequence here, right? So let me drag and drop the sequence. So now let me open the variable panel again, and now as you can see, I have this option of name, variable type, scope, and default value. So which simply mean now I'm able to create a variable here. But before creating a variable, I have to select my activity also, right? Because if I not select my any of these activity which I used in this variable panel, I cannot create a variable here, right? So let me select my activity here, and now I'm able to create a variable. So methods to create a variable, right? So how many methods we have to create a variable? So the very first method is select your activity, open your variable panel, and then you can simply create your variable from this panel, right? So now let me rename it as variable 1, right? And from here you can select the types for your variable. So as you can see, we have different types to select, right?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam, extremely sorry to interrupt you. Can you start from the beginning? How to open that window and all this?
Okay, sir. So I was talking about this variable panel. So the variable panels, okay. So the variable panel enables you to create a variables and make changes to them, right? So renaming a variable panel, if you want to rename your variable, you can rename them from the variable panel itself, right? So in this figure, it says that if you want to create a variable, the shortcut key to create a variable is Control plus K, right? So this is all about the variables. And the next thing what we have to discuss here is how we can create a variable. So variable is something in which we can store some information, I can say, or we can store some values, right? So the question is how we can create a variable inside of our studio, right? So here I have mentioned 3 points only by using options from context menu, from the body of an activity, from the variable panels, right? Now I'm going to show you how you can create a variable inside of your studio, right? Let me open my studio. So this is my studio, right? So if I delete this sequence from my main file, so as you can see, my main file is empty, right? Because I haven't used any activity here in my main file. So if I want to create a variable, as you can see, I'm not able to create any variable here on this variable panel because I haven't used any activity in my this designer panel, right? So to create a variable, the first thing you have to do is you have to select any activity for your process, right? So the very simple activity what I'm going to select here is the sequence, right? So I'm going to select the sequence here, and I used sequence in my this designer panel. And now let me open my variable panel again, and as you can see, now I can create a variable because I have selected my activity here, right? So now let me open my slide. So this was written here: variables cannot be created if the designer panel does not contain at least one activity, right? So to create a variable, you at least have to select one activity, and right. So the next thing is how many methods are there to create a variables, right? So now let me show you the methods to create a variable. The very first method by which you can create a variable is select your any activity you are using and then open a variable panel, right? And inside of a variable panel, as you can see here, it is written create a variable. Select this area, and now you are able to create a variable. So you can rename it also as a variable one, right? And these are the types of variable. We will discuss the types of a variable in a bit later, but for now let me continue. And this is the scope, right? So the scope is sequence. Sequence is nothing but your activity. Inside of this particular activity you are going to use your variable. That's why it is written scope is a sequence. Now let me use any other activity here. For example, if I use this for each activity, right, inside of my sequence, and if I'm going to use any other activity for, let's suppose this is the message box activity, let's suppose, right? So as you can see, I have selected my message box activity, right? And now I'm going to create a other variable here. So I'm going to rename it as a variable 2, right? And now if you will see the scope of this variable 2, it says body, right? So body means what? You can use this particular variable 2 only inside of this body. So all the activities, whatever you are going to use inside of this body, you can use this variable 2 for those activity only, right? For example, if I use this assign activity here, right? If I use this do while activity here, so I can use this variable 2 for all my these 3 activity, message box, assign and do while activity, but I cannot use this variable 2 for my sequence, inside of my sequence, any other activity inside of my sequence. For example, let's suppose if I use one more message box here, I cannot use this variable. As you can see, variable 2 is gone, right? Because you are not able to use variable 2 for your message box. Because let me open the for each activity again and let me select the body portion again, and as you can see now variable 2 is visible because the scope is the body, right? So to use variable anywhere you want, what you can do is you can change the scope from body to sequence, right? So by changing the scope, now you are able to use your this variable 2 inside of your sequence, anywhere inside of your sequence, right? This is my sequence, and as you can see now I can use this variable here also, right? So this is what the scope is. And now this is the default portion. Here you can assign your default values to these variables if you want, right? So this is totally optional. And so this is the first method how you can create a variable. So you can create a variable by using this variable panel, right? So this is the first method. Now the second method how you can create a variable is select your any particular activity for which you want to use a variable. Select that particular activity, and from that particular activity what you can do is just simply send a hotkey which is a control plus K, right? So control plus K from your keypad, and you are now able to create a variable here, right? So now I'm going to name it as variable 3. So this is the second method to create a variable by sending a sending a shortcut key which is a variable 3, right? Now let me show you the third method to create a variable. Now let me delete this. Select your particular activity in which you want to create a variable. Open the property panel of that particular activity. So this is the property panel of my this particular activity, message box, right? So this is the property of message box activity. So if I want to create a variable for my this particular activity, here you have this output section, right? In this output section here I have choose button, right? So here I can create a variable also. So again control plus K, and again now you can set a variable in the property variable 1, variable 4, right? So this is the third method to create a variable. You can create a variable from the property panels of the particular activity. And now let me show you the fourth way to create a variable is you can simply select your activity, right click on your activity, and now you have the option to create a variable from this context menu, right? So from here also you can create a variable, right? And here you have one button is remove unused. So here you have the option of drop down, And inside of this drop down, if you want to remove any of unused variable which you are not using inside of your any of these activity, you can simply remove them from here, right? So for example, let's suppose in my variable panel I have this 4 variable. So now let me do this remove unused variable. So hit on OK, and let's see, I have only variable 4 present here because I have used this variable 4. I haven't used it anywhere, but in any ways, this particular option is used to, yes, I have used this variable 4 here. As you can see, variable 4 is used in this property panel of this particular activity. That's why only this variable is not deleted and all the variable is deleted, right? So now let me delete this particular variable also from here. So these are the ways how you can create a variable, right? And now let me, yeah, so this is a type of variables. Now we are going to see what are the types of variables. So as you can see in UiPath Studio, variables are of different types and are used to store multiple types of data ranging from generic value, text, number, data table, time and date, right? So now the first type is first type what we are going to discuss is number variable. So what is this number variable? Number variables are also known as integers, or in short we can say int32, and are used to store numeric information. So this particular variable is going to store all the numeric information, right? So they can be used to perform equations or comparisons, pass important data to many others, right? So here is our first question. Example of using a number variable, write a program to calculate the current age. So here I am going to show you how you can use the number variable, or I can say int variable, right? So for this, now let me delete all these activities from here. So how to calculate the current age, right? So for this purpose, what I'm going to do, the very first thing is I'm going to select a sequence, because inside of the sequence I'm going to create my process, right? If you want, you can also select a flowchart, right? If you want, you can go for the flowchart also. Here I'm selecting a sequence, and now inside of the sequence, the very first activity I'm going to use is a assign activity. Here is my assign activity, right? So what is this assign activity? So basically it is generally used to assign a value or an output to a variable, right? So by using this activity, what we can do is we can assign a value or output to any of variables, right? So now let me create one variable here, because here I'm going to assign something to my variable. So this is a 2 portion of my assign activity. Here control plus K, right? The shortcut key is control plus K. Hit control plus K, and now you are able to create a variable here. So I'm going to name my variable as age, right? So age. So now I have to assign something to my this variable, right, to calculate our current age. So current year is 2021, and the formula to calculate your current age is uh, present year minus your birth year, right? So for year, I have to create a variable here, right? So let me use one input dialog box activity also to ask the birth year, right, from the user. So here I'm going to write, please enter your birth year. Let me copy the sentence from here and let me paste it here. Right? So text box is fine. And here value enter. Let me control plus K. Again, you have to create a variable here to store the birth year of your user, right? So how you can do this? Control plus K from your keypad, and you now able to you are not able to create a variable here. So I'm going to name my variable as E, right? And now, as we all know that this year variable and this age variable which we have created here is going to store the information which is in integer form, right? So now let me first select this sequence, right? Because if you not select this sequence, you are not able to see all your variables created inside of this sequence, right? So now let me open the variable panel, and as you can see, the variable type of your age variable and year variable is a string. So we have to change the type also, because we are not going to store a string value inside of this variable. We are going to store an integer value, right? So for integer value, you can simply select int 32, right? So int 32 for your age variable and int 32 for your year variable also. Done. Close your variable panel, go back here in your assign activity. So here we have to complete our formula also, right? So we have to now mention this particular variable here in our assign activity. Simply what you have to do, just hit on a space button, and by hitting on a space button from your keypad, you are getting all the properties of what all the variables. If you want to use inside of your assign activity, you can use it from this pop-up option, right? So I want to use this year variable. Done. Right? And now to display the output, what I can do is I can use this message box activity here to display my output. If you want, you can also use the write line activity if you want to display your output on this output panel, right? So if you want to display output here on this output panel, you can use write line activity also. So this is your write line activity, but here I'm going to use message box activity, and simply to display the age is current age is this, and then use plus sign, and then mention your variable which is age, right? Because this is the variable which is going to store your age, current age, right? And then dot to string. Now let me explain you why I have written this expression in my message box. Let me open this from here. Right, so this is what I have written in my message box. Your current age is, and then age dot to string, right? So as you can see, this particular thing, your current age is this is a string value, right? This is a string thing. So I have to put this string inside of this double quotation here, right? So if you want to write any message, or I can say if you want to write any sentence inside of your message box, write line activity, or in any activity, if you want to write anything, so you have to put those string value inside of this double quotation, right? And after this double quotation, what I have used here is the age variable. So this is the nothing but the variable, right? So this is variable of type integer, right? So to separate this from this string value, you have to use a separator plus sign. So this plus sign is nothing but a separator from your string to your integer value, right? And then we have this age, which is a variable but of type integer. And as you can see here, I used a string thing, right? So I have to convert this integer also in a string, so that my message box can hold all this sentence together, right? So I have converted this integer by using this dot to string in a string form, right? Now let me close this, and let me save my process, and let me run it. So please enter your birth year. Now let me enter any year here. For example, let's suppose if I will enter 2000, hit okay. So your current age is 21. So basically this is not my age, but this is the formula. Your current age is 21, right? And hit okay. So this is how you can create this particular process. First I used input dialog box in which I'm asking the input from my user, and based on this input I assigned a formula here which is 2021 minus that particular year, and I'm storing this value inside of this variable which I named that as a age, and then I displayed my output by using this message box activity. Your current age is age dot to string, right? Because one at a time this message box is going to contain only one type of a value. So here I use the string value. I have converted my integer into the string, right?
Madam, what is the difference between dialog title and input label?
So here in this input dialog box, as you can see, here is a dialog title and here is a input label. So for example, so you can consider it as a title of your book, right, sir? So this is a title, and this is what you actually want. So you can describe here what you want from your user, right? So now let me run it again. So as you can see, dialog title is enter your birth year and input level is please enter your birth year, right? So this is nothing. Here you have to describe what is this in, why you are using this input dialog box. You have to mention it on a title, and you can describe your title inside of this input level. Now let me run this. So as you can see, sir, this input dialog box, the dialog part is here, enter your birth year, and the title, sorry, this is the title part, enter your birth year, and this is the label part, right? Please enter your birth year.
Okay, got it,
So
got
the
it.
position is changed, right? Title is appearing here on the top, and the label is here, right? So this is what I'm trying to explain you, that here you have to describe what you want from your user, and here you have to mention the title.
Got it, madam, got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we have successfully completed our first example. Let me proceed further. So this is the second type of a variable, which is a text variable, right? So a text or a string variable is a type of a variable that can store only a string, right? So in this type of a variable, text variable, the value which we can store is a type of a string only, right? We cannot store a integer type of values inside of my string variables, right? So these type of variables can be used to store any information such as employee name, username, or any other string, right? Note, all strings in UiPath have to be placed in between the quotations. So I think I have already shown you all this point. All strings you in UiPath have to be placed in between quotations. So this is the very important thing. So now the example for our text variable is create a project that asks for the user's name, store it, and display only the first letter of his name in the output panel, right? Let's do this. So this is the example 2. For this purpose, I am going to use new file from here, or I can say new workflow type from here, right? These are nothing but a type of workflows. So here I have shown you this example inside of my sequence, right? So we have created this process inside of the sequence. Now for the second example, I am going to show you the flowchart, how you can use the flowchart to create. See, same thing, same example you can also create by using the flowchart also, right? And same thing you can create inside of the sequence also. This is up to you what type of workflow you want to choose from here. So for our second example, I am going to choose flowchart. Again, this is an optional thing. If you want to go for the sequence, you can use the sequence also. If you want to rename it from flowchart, you can. So for example, I'm going to rename it as a example 2, right? And simply hit on create. So now here we have the flowchart, and the question is we have to ask our user's name, right? So to ask the name, as you all know that the activity we are going to use here is the input dialog box activity, because we want to ask the name of our user, right? So now we have to connect this input dialog box activity to the start node, because as you can see we have the exclamation mark here, which means we have did something wrong inside of our process, right? So let me connect it with the start node, right? And now as you can see the mark is gone from here, right? So now let me open the input dialog box, and here let me provide some title, enter your name, and here some input level. This is up to you, whatever you want to type here you can. So please enter your full name. Sorry. Please enter your full name, right? And then of your text box is fine in my case, and here you have to create a variable to store the name of your user. So here I'm going to create a variable by using control plus K, shortcut key, control plus K, right? And I'm going to name my variable as a name. So this is the name of my variable, right? And now let me show you the type of this particular variable. Let me open the variable panel, and as you can see the type is string, right? So this is a default type of your variables. All the variables you are going to create here, this is the default type, string, right? So string is fine because we are going to store a string value here, right? Scope is example 2. Now let me show you. So example 2 is the highest scope for my variable, so fine. And now let me close this. So after input dialog box, what I am going to use here is the assign activity again. Let me connect this activity, right? And now here I have to create one variable, because our question says, let me show you the question again. Create a project that asks for the username. We have take the input dialog box activity for this step, right? And then store it. So to store it, now we have to create a variable and display only the first letter of his name. So we have to display only the first letter of his name in the output panel. So to display only the first letter, I have to create a variable again, right? So here I'm going to create a variable to display only the first letter of his name. So I'm going to name this variable as a first letter. Right? And hit enter. And here you have to provide the expression how you can fetch only the first letter from your full name, right? So for this purpose, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this name variable, right? And then what I'm going to write here is a substring. So substring is the property of your string variable, right? So how will you get this property? You will get this property after using this variable. This is of type string, right? Put dot after this, and now you can use your substring, right, from the properties. So substring 0, 1, right? Because we want to fetch only the first letter. Now let me show you. So this is the expression, your name dot substring and 0,1. 0,1 means I'm going to ask for the full name of my user. So full name is containing one name and then surname, right? So 0 means the first name. From the first name, the first letter it is going to fetch, right? So 0 is indicating the first name. Now let me show you, and before this let me use the message box activity here, right, to display the output. If you want, you can also use the write line activity. let me connect it with the assigned. And inside of this message box activity, what I'm going to type is simply I can mention my first letter variable here. Then go back. Now we are good to go, right? So now let me run this. So here, please enter your full name, right? So full name is like, right? So as you can see, this is the first name and this is the last name, right? So basically, the position of this first name is 0, right? So the indexing will start with a 0. That's why the position of this first name is 0, and the position of this last name is 1, right? And our job is to fetch only the first letter. So we want to fetch only the first letter from this name, which is S, right? So let's see if it will work or not. So as you can see, we can successfully fetch the first letter from the full name, right, which is S. So now let me open this value part again. So 0, 1, 0, 1 means from the first name, first letter, right? And now if I will write it like 0, 3, let's suppose 0, 3. So it's mean it is going to fetch the first 3 letters from the first name, right? 3 letters from the first name. Let me hit OK, save my file and run my file again. So here I have to enter a name. So suppose if I write it like so, as you can see, the first 3 letters from the first name, right? Similarly, if you want, you can do this also. So here from if you want to remove this 1, then you can use 0. So you can use 1 here. So now it is going to fetch 3 letters from the last name, right? Now let me save it and run my file. Let me use one other name. And now as you can see, AM, right? So from the 1 means it is going to skip the first letter, which is R, and then it will display you the third letter, right? So the next type of a variable is a date time variable. Okay, so the date time variable is a type of a variables that enable you to store information about date and time, right? For example, they can be used to append date to invoices or any other document you may be working with and are time sensitive, right? So basically, date time variable is used to display the date and time. Now let me open my studio. New sequence and example 3. Right, so here we have to use date time variable, right? So for this I'm first going to use this assign activity. Here I have to create a variable, right? So control plus K, and I'm going to name my variable as a date. This is up to you. You can give any name of your choice also. And now to see the date and time, what I have to write here now, right? But if I will write now here, let me type now. As you can see now, and then let me use the close bracket, right? And as you can see, we are getting this exclamation mark here because it says we have did something wrong inside of our process. And what is the wrong we have did here is the type of this date and time. Let me show you the type of this date and time variable is string, right? So to display the date and time, you have to select the date and time. Type is date time, right? So how as you can see, we don't have this date time option here. So for this purpose, browse for type, open your browse for type, and here you have to search for date and time variable. So simply to search date and time, I'm going to type date and time. Let me see if I have any date time. No. So system dot date and time, right? So you will get this particular variable date time variable from this system, right? Select your variable, your desired variable date and time, hit on OK, and now as you can see, all error mark is gone, right? And now to display the output, I'm going to use one message box activity here, and here you can simply mention your date time variable, right? So here you don't have to convert this particular variable in a string format because we have simply used this date time variable here in message box. Now let's see if we have to convert it into a string form or not. So as you can see, we haven't used any string type, but it is now my message box is displaying me the date, which is the current date, right? And the time is 11:13 31 and the 11:13:18 at the time which this message box has appeared, right? So this is how you can use your date time variable. Now let me show you what else you can do here. So here in my message box, let's suppose if I want to see only dot to short. If you want to see only date, you can select dot to short date string. If you want to see the time, only time, then you can select dot to short time string, right? So here I am going to select the date. Let me save it and run my file again. So as you can see, only date, right? The message box is displaying me only the date. Similarly, if you want to short only for the time, so you can also select dot to short time string, right? And the next type of variable which we have is array variable. So the array variable is a type of a variable which enable you to store multiple values of the same type, right? So in an array variable, you can store multiple values but of same type, right? UiPath Studio support as many type of array as it does type of variables, right? So this means that you can create an array of number, one of string, one of boolean values, and so on, right? Now let me open my Studio again, and here we have to use the array variable. Let me take new sequence here, and you can rename it as a example 4, create it, right? And instead of this example, what you can use, the very first activity, assign activity, right? And inside of this assign activity, I'm going to create create some variables. But before this, let me use this input dialog box activity here, and one here, and one here. So I have used 3 input dialog box activity here, as you can see, and then I have used this assign activity. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask my user to enter a number here and one number here and uh, one number here. So basically I'm going to ask three numbers from my users, and then I will store all these three numbers inside of an array variable, right? And then we will perform some calculations based on the numbers, right? So for this purpose, message box, and now let me ask the numbers. So here, enter your first number, copy this, and here let me type please. Enter your first number. Create a variable here, control plus K, for to store your first number, right? Number one. Then go back, open your second input dialog box, and here let me type enter your second number. Copy this, type same thing here. Let me type please. Please enter your second number. Create one variable here to store your second number. Now the third input dialog box. Enter your third number. Please enter your third number. And then create a variable here to store your third number. So number 3. Right, and now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an array to store all these number inside of that particular array. And as you can see, the type of these variables are integer, because in these variables we are going to store the integers value. So for that purpose I'm going to change the type of this variable from string to integer. Change the type from string to variable for all of my dialog box activity. Let me check the scope. So scope is fine, we are at the highest scope, right? Now let me create one array variable here. So to create a variable, I'm going to name it as a array of int variable, right? So this is the name of my variable, and as you know that this particular array is going to store these integers type of variable. So that I'm going to change the type of this particular in an array of string. So here you have the option of array of t, right? Select this array of t, and from here you have to select the integer. So here as you can see, by default the integer is already there. Let me select the int 32, hit on OK, and that's it. And now we have to store all the number, or I can say all the variables here. So to store all your variables, use this curly braces, and one by one mention all your variables inside of this curly braces, right? Hit enter, hit space, and then you will able to get this properties. So from here I'm going to select my number 1, hit enter again. But before this, let me use comma, hit enter again, number 2, comma, and number 3. And now let me open it from here, right? So as you can see, let me show you the expression. So this is the expression, all your variables, number 1, number 2, and number 3. But as you can see, here is a dot in the beginning of your every variables, right? So remove these dots. Remove it from here also, and now hit on OK, right? And now what you have to do, now you have to perform the calculations, any type of calculation you want. So for this purpose I'm going to just call my these variables here in my message box. So how I can write the expression for this? Simply call your array. So to call my array, what I'm going to do is close bracket, and this is your array type variable. Let's suppose I want to call this variable number 1. So for this I'm going to write 0 here, right? And then I want to call the other array. So for that, let me use plus sign if I want to perform the addition, right? And then let me array, and from this array I want to suppose I want to call this variable. So for this I'm going to type here 1, and then close your bracket and convert it. You don't have to convert it in string format. Now let me show you the expression also. So as you can see, this is the expression, right? So this is our array variable which we have created, and from this particular variable I am calling my first variable and the second variable, and the indexing of my first variable is 0 and my second variable is 1, right? Let me hit on OK. Let's see if it will go. Here I am not calling my third variable. As you can see, I haven't used my third variable anywhere inside of my this calculation, right? So please enter your first number. Let's suppose 10. So please enter your second number. Let's suppose 20. And please enter your third number. Let's suppose 30 for third number, right? And as you can see, we are getting this 30, which is the addition of the first and second number, that is 10 plus 20, right? So this is how you can create an array and call your any value inside from your arrays, right? So array variable 0 and 1. 0 and 1 means we are calling this value and this value from these two input dialog box. Similarly, if I'm removing this 1 from here and let me type 2 here, which means this time I'm going to use this input dialog box, this number variable from here, and this variable from this input dialog box, right? So now let me save it. Let me run my file again. And enter your first number, let's suppose 5. Enter your second number, let's suppose 4. And enter your third number, let's suppose 5 again, right? So 5 plus 5, the answer will be 10. So as you can see, the answer is 10, right? So this is how you can use your array variables. Now in last we have this generic value, right? So generic value, let me show it quickly, what this generic value means. You can you can cover this theoretical parts from the slides also. I will share the slides after the session. Now let me create one more sequence from here. Example 5. Example 5. We will create it. And here what I am going to do is just take one assign activity, but now let me select this example 1 sequence, and here I am going to create variables, right? So the first variable is variable 1, second variable is variable 2, and the third variable is output. I'm going to rename it as a output, right? So here I have used 3 variables, as you can see, variable 1, variable 2, and the output variable. Now the type, variable type, I'm going to choose generic value. So as you can see, I haven't any option of generic value here in this property, right? So for this I'm going to browse for type. So I want to look for generic value. So type generic value here. So this is your generic value, right? Inside of your UiPath.core, you will get this generic value. Hit on OK. Let me change this type also. generic value, and again this one is also generic value, right? Example 5 scope is fine. Now here I'm going to assign the default values instead of using instead of using input dialog box. I'm going to simply going to assign some values here in a default field, right? It will save some time for us. So here I'm right here I have assigned 2. 2 means this is a integer value, right? Because 2 is a number, so this is an integer value. Now here I'm going to assign 1 2. So now see, this is the difference. This 2 is the number value. So this is an integer type, right? But this 12 is not a number value, because as you can see, I have written this 12 inside of the double quotation, right? So if you will type any number inside of a double quotation, which simply means this is not a number, this is a string value. So this 12 is a string value and this is a integer value, right? And here we don't have to assign any value because this is for the output purpose. And now let me declare my output variable here, and inside of this assign activity I'm going to do addition of variable 1 and variable 2. And now I want to display my output on message box. If you want, you can use the right line activity also. So simply to display the output, I'm going to mention my output here, right? Let me save my process and let me run this. So see here I have written variable 1 plus variable 2, which means the type of my variable 1 is generic value and the value I have stored in my variable 1 is of type integer. So this is an integer. So because we have select the generic value type here, so it is going to convert this string into an integer, right? So the answer of this this calculation is 12, 13, 14. 14 is the answer, right? Now let me show you. So as you can see, 14 is the answer, because what happened, variable 1 is of integer type, that's why it is automatically convert your second type of variable into an integer based on what variable you are using at the first on the first position, right? So if I will write it here like if I write variable 2 first and then add it with a variable 1, so here the position is changed. First I use this variable 2 and then I use this variable 1. So which simply means it is going to convert my variable 1 into a string, right? It is going to convert the value stored inside of my variable 1 in a string. String, right? Let me save it. Let me run it. And this time you will get 1 2 2, right? So 1 2 2 is the output. Why? Because based on the first variable, it converts the second variable into the same time, right? So this is what the generic value is. So the generic value variable is a type of a variable that can store any kind of data, including text, number, data, and array, and is particular to UiPath Studio. Generic value variables are automatically converted to other types in order to perform certain actions, right? However, it is important to use these types of variables carefully, as their conversions may not always be correct for one of your project, right? So now the next topic is the argument, right? So now what is arguments? So argument is used to store data like variable and pass data from one workflow to other, right? So argument is like a variable, but only difference is we can pass the value inside of our argument from one workflow to other. So what is the difference between argument and variables? Argument is used to pass data from one workflow to another, while variable is used to pass data from one activity to another within the scope, right? Let me show you this. So here As you can see, I have used these variables here, variable 1, variable 2 and output. I can use this variable inside of my this process only. But if I want to use this variable in example 5, variable 1, variable 2 and output variable in this file of example 4, can I use these variables from example 5 to my example 4? No, I cannot use these variables here, because here I have some different variables, and if I want to call those variable here, let me show you. So here, as you can see, I have no options to call my variables from this file to this file, right? So yeah, so this is written here. Argument is used to pass data from one workflow to another, while variable is used to pass data from one activity to another within the scope, right? Types of argument, it is the same as type of a variable. Which type of data can it store? Generic value, string, integer, array, object and boolean, etc., right? So same types as of our variables. The only thing in the argument is what are the directions of argument. So there is only three types of directions in our argument. The first one is in. These arguments can be used within the given workflow. Out, this argument can be used to pass data outside the given workflow. And then we have this in out. This argument can be used within and outside of the given workflow. Okay, so this is our argument panel. Right, now let me show you how you can use arguments. So I'm taking new sequence from here and rename it as a argument. So here what I'm going to do is, inside of this this particular file, which is of argument file, I'm going to take one assign activity again, and inside of this assign activity, the very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a arguments, right? So open your argument panels, and here let me create one argument, and I'm going to rename it as a argument in. So because this argument I'm going for a in direction, so the direction of this particular argument is in, as you can see, right? And now the second argument, we named it as a argument 2, argument out, right? And let me change the direction also from in to out, right? And the type is string, right? Which is fine. And now I'm going to use these arguments here, right? These arguments here in the assign activity. So argument in, right? And after this, let me type here any message like hello, this is in argument, right? And let me use one more assign activity, and here let me mention my other variable, which is the argument out, right? And let me type some message here like this is of the argument. And then let me use one message box activity here. And here let me just simply display my these two arguments. So argument in, then use plus sign to separate your arguments. And then plus sign again and mention your second argument, right? Then let me save it, and let me now run this file. So as you can see, hello, this is a in argument, hello, this is a out argument. So this is the message box which is showing me the values stored inside of this in argument and this out argument. Now let me create one more file here. So this is my other file, and inside of this file, if I want to call this argument, or I can say if I want to display this values inside of my this file, how can I do this? I have one activity here known as invoke workflow file activity, select your activity, and by using this particular activity you can call your argument from your previous file to your current file, right? Or similarly, if you want to use any variable from this file to this file, what you have to do, you just simply have to use this invoke workflow file activity. Here I'm going to mention inside of this particular file, invoke workflow file, I'm going to mention the path of the file from which I want to call the arguments, right? So let me select that particular file. So this is the file from which I want to call the arguments, right? Let me mention the file. So this is the file which I want from which I want to call the arguments, and here the option import argument. So if you are going to call your arguments from this file to this file, so basically what you are going to do is you are going to call these information, hello, this is an in argument to this file. So you need to store this information from this file to here in this file. So to store the information, we have to create a variables here also, right? For your argument 1 and for your argument 2 also. So here let me create two variables, variable 1 and variable 2, to store these values, right? The values of argument 1, argument in and argument out from our previous file. So now import argument, and here let me, so what arguments you are importing? Argument in and argument out. The direction is in and out, right? So here we need some variable to store these values for argument in and argument out, right? So here I am going to simply mention my variable 1. Inside of my variable 1, I am going to store the value of argument in, and inside of my variable 2, I am going to store the output of the argument out, right? So let me hit on OK, and let me use one message box activity here and one more message box activity, right? And variable 1 and variable 2, right? Simply save your file and run your file. So currently I am running my this file, the argument example file, and not this file, right? I'm running this argument example file. So now let me run my file. So as you can see, we have this message box from our previous file. Hello, this is an in argument and this is an out argument. So this message box is coming from, let me show you. This message box is coming from my this particular file, right? This is the message box from which I am getting this pop-up, right? Let me hit on OK. And now as you can see, the second message box is empty. This message box is coming from, let me show you. So this message box is that one, right? Message box variable 1. Why this is empty? Because if you remember, the direction of this argument is in, which basically means that you cannot use this argument in a other file, right? And now we are going to see the message box from this activity. So this is saying hello, this is a out argument, right? So this message box is coming from this particular activity, right? Let me hit on OK. And if you want to see the value of variable 1 also, the only thing what you have to do is you can change the direction, right? Direction is in, so if you want to see the value on the second message box also, what you have to do, you have to change the direction only, right? From here also and from this file also, from your this file also, right? From here also you have to change the direction as a out, right? And now the last type is in out direction. So for that purpose, let me use one assign activity here, and let me create one argument here, argument in out. Let me change the direction also in out, and let me close this. Let me mention my in out argument here, and let me type some message here. This is an example. This is an example, right? Open my other file, and if I want to call my particular argument here, so let me use one message box activity. Let me create a variable here to store the value of that particular argument, right? And here let me call that particular argument from our previous file, right? So here I'm going to call, let me first save this file. So as you can see, this file is not saved. First let me save this file, go back, and here let me call my argument this time. So argument in out, direction is in out, and here let me mention my variable in which I want to store the value of this particular argument, right? Let me hit OK from here, and now let me mention my variable 3. Let me save my process and run my file again. So this is the message box from our first example. Let me show you from here. So this is the message box from this argument file, right? This is the argument file, and this message box is empty because what the direction of this particular argument is in, which means you can use the information of this argument only in your current file and not in any of the other file, right? So then hello, this is a out argument, and this is an example. This is the value basically coming from our in out argument, right? So this is all about the arguments and variables. Now let me continue with the control flow activities, right? So this is our next topic, the control flow activities. So here the very first activity is assign activity. I don't think so that I have to give any example of assign activity again, because in our previous examples we have seen how we can use the assign activities, right? So then the next activity is the if activity, how you can use the if activity, right? So check whether the sum of the example of the if activity is check whether the sum of any two number is less than 10 or not, right? Check whether the sum of any two number is less than 10 or not. So this is what we have to do here, right? Let me create one sequence here, and control flow activity, control flow example 1. So right, so the very first activity is the if activity, in which we have to check if the sum of the number is any two number is less than 10 or not. So for this, first we need is two numbers from our user. Now let me open my studio again. And here now I'm going to use a input dialog box activity, right? So for two number I need two input dialog box activity. So here I'm skipping this dialog title. If you want, you can skip this, but if you want to provide any title here, you can. So here I'm only going to type input level, right? So this is up to you. If you want to skip, you can. If you want to type a title here, this is up to you only. So please enter your first number. Please enter your first number, and then let me create one variable here to store the first number, number 1, right? And then here what I'm going to type is, please enter your second number, right? And then let me create one variable here to store second number. That's it. And then the next thing what I'm going to use here is our if activity. This is what we want to learn here, if activity, about if activity, right? So inside of this if activity, as you can see, we have this condition section here. So here we have to provide the condition, right? So in our case, the condition is we have to check whether the sum of two number is less than 10 or not, right? So this is our condition. So the very first thing we have to do here is we have to perform the addition for these two numbers. So for this purpose, I'm just simply going to mention my variable 1, plus it with your number 2, which is your second variable, and then the condition is less than 10 or not. So this is the condition, right? Now let me change the type of these variables from string to integer, right? Because we are dealing with the number, so we have to change the type from string to integer. Done. And as you can see, we don't have any error here, right? So this is the condition number 1 plus number 2, which is the addition of the two number is less than 10 or not, the simple condition, right? And inside of this if activity, you have two sections, one is for then and one is for else, right? So here you have to provide, if the condition is true, then the process will run in this then section, and for then section I'm going to use the message box activity to display the output. And if the condition is not true, then the flow will run for the else section. So here I'm going to use the message box activity again. This is up to you. If you want any other activity inside of this section, you can. For example, you can use write line activity also if you want. And here I'm going to type simply yes. Yes, our condition is true. And for the else section, I'm simply going to type no, which means our condition is not true, right? This example I used only to explain you the use of if activity. Now let me save this and let me run my file. So enter your first number. Let me enter 20 here, right? And hit OK. Enter your second number. Let me enter 50 here. So the addition of 20 plus 50 is 70, right? So the process will run for the else section, which is no. Our condition is not satisfied, right? Let me open if activity. So here, this is the message box from the else section, right? Let me hit OK. Now let me run this same process again. And let me type here 5 and 4, right? Hit on OK. And the condition is yes. This time the addition is 9. So that's why it is running for the then section, which is the true side, for the true side, right? So this is how you can use the if activity. And if you want, you can write this expression also as less than and equal to 10, right? This is up to you. Whatever condition you want to provide here, you can. So this is about the if activity, how you can use the if activity. Now the next activity is the while activity, how you can use the while activity, right? So the while activity is used in automation to execute a statement or a process based on certain condition. If found true, the loop is executed, that is, the process is executed repeatedly. Basically, this is while activity is the project only exists from the loop when the condition does not hold true. This activity is used while iterating through an array of a element. Right. So, example, we will see how an integer variable will increase from 5 to 50 in an increment of 5. Right. So 5 to 50 in an increment of 5. This is what we have to type. We have to print a number which is going to start from 5 up to 50 with the increment of 5. Right. So now let me create one more sequence here. So control flow activity example 2. So inside of this sequence, we have to print a number, right, with the increment of 5. So for this, I'm going to use input dialog box activity here, or I can simply skip this input dialog box activity. I can just simply, I'm just going to simply create a variable here, right? So let me just simply create a variable here, and let me type number. I'm renaming my variable as a number. Let me change the type of my variable from string to integer. Scope is fine, and here let me simply provide a default value. So in our case, the default value is going to be 50 because we want to print the series of 50, right? So let me type in a default 50. Done. And the next activity I'm going to use here is a assign activity. Inside of this assign activity, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more variable here, which is I, right, of type integer again. Simply mention your I variable here, and I is equal to what? I is equal to 5 because we want to print our number from 5, right? So I is equal to 5. And now I'm going to use our while activity here to run our loop. So this is our while activity, and here we have to provide the condition, right? So the condition will be I is smaller than equal to number. As you can see, the default value of this number variable, let me select the activity first, and the default value of this number variable is 50. And we have used one more variable here, which is I, and I we have assigned 5, right? The value of I is 5, which means the number is going to start from 5, and the loop will run. The loop will run until it reaches to the 50, right? So here in the body section, I'm going to use one write line activity. So inside of this write line activity, we want to print that number, so we can simply type I dot toString, or I can simply type I. Right. What else I can do is, okay. So to print a number, we have to convert it into a string format. So I dot toString, what you have to type here in your write line activity, and then to run our loop. Here I'm going to use one more assign activity, right? And inside of this, what you can type here is I, and here I plus 5, because the increment we want to provide here is of 5, right? Now let me save this process, and first let me run this. Right, and now let me show you the output in the output panel, and as you can see, the number is printed here 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and so on up to 50 with the increment of 5, right? So all the number is printed here with the increment of 5, starting from 5 and end on a 50, right? So Let me show you the steps again of this example. So the very first activity I used here is a sign activity in which I have created a variable I. I have assigned this variable 5 because I want to print my number starting from 5, right? I want to print number from 5, and then I use this while activity here. Inside of this while activity, I put here the condition as like I is smaller than and equal to the number, and the default value of this number variable is 50. And then inside of this body, I use this write line activity to print my number. So that's I type here I dot toString, and then I used assign activity to run my loop with the increment of 5, right? So the in assign activity I used I is equal to I plus 5, right? So this is how you can use your while activity. The next activity we have here is a do while activity, right? So in a do while activity, the example is take a integer variable is starting with these variables, we shall generate the multiple of 2 less than 20. So basically we have to print the table of 20, right? So how we can do this inside by using do while activity. Let me create a sequence here. Do while activity. And here let me use do while loop, because this is what we want to learn here. So do while loop, and as you can see in do while loop, it is going to first run our loop, and then it will check your condition, right? So this is the difference between do and do while is the while loop is check the condition first and then it will run your loop, but in do while it is going to run your loop first and then it will check your condition, right? So in a do while loop, what we have to do here is we simply have to first let me create a variable here. So I'm going to name my variable as a x, and let me select the type as an integer 32, and in default value I'm going to put 2 here because we want to print the table of 2, right? So that's why the default value of our x variable is a 2, right? Now we have to put the activity inside of the body section of a do while activity. So here I'm using the assign activity, and let me mention my variable here, right? And here I have to type x plus 2. Why x plus 2? Because the increment of 2, because we want the increment of 2, right? And then let me use one message box activity, or I can use the write line activity also. So this is up to you if you want to use message box or a write line activity. Here I am using a write line activity, and simply I want to write my the values of my this x variable. So that's why x dot toString. And then in last we have to put the condition here. So to put the condition, let me mention my variable first. So as you can see, I'm not able to get my variable here for the condition. So for that purpose, let me open the variable panel here first. Let me select this body section and let me change the scope from body to do while activity, which is the highest scope, right? And then let me mention my variable here. Now I'm able to get my variable here for the condition, and simply the condition is x is less than 20. Because this is a do while loop, so that's why it is going to run your activities first, or I can say run your loop first, and then it will check for the condition. So it will print the numbers up to the 20 table of 20, right? Now let me run this file. Done. Now let me show you the output. So here, as you can see, this is the table of 20, right? So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 14, 18, and then 20. And day 2 execution ended in this second, 0.1 second, right? So this is how you can use your do while. Now the next one is a for each. For each is again a very good activity here. Now let me show you how you can use the for each activity. So for each activity works by iterating each elements from the collection of an item or a list of items, one at a time, right? In the process, it will execute all the actions that are available inside the body. Thus, it iterates through the data and process each piece of information separately, right? So basically, what is the for each activity? The for each activity basically enable you to step through an array, list, data tables, or other type of collections, right? So that you can iterate through the data and process each of information individually. Right, so this is what your for each activity. Now let me show you the example of the for each activity. So the example of for each activity is create an automation process that goes through each element of an array and write the length of array and each element to the output panel. So this is what we have to perform by using the for each activity, right? So create an automation process that goes through each element of array, which write the length of array and each element to the output panel, right? Here let me use new sequence again and for each activity. Then create it. So in this file, what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array. Right, so for this, let me select this for each activity sequence first, and here I'm going to rename this variable 1 as number array. So this is the name of my variable, and here I'm going to change the type array of integer, right? So I'm going to select the type array of integer. Scope is fine, and here I am going to create a array. So for this, first use the curly braces, and inside of your curly braces you can put all your items which you want to put inside of your array. So here I want to put 1, then again 1, then 2, then 3, then 5, 8, 13, 21, 24, 25, and 89. Okay. So this is the array in which I have stored these items as 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, and 89. Right. So these are nothing but the items inside of my array. Right. And now let me use for each activity which I want to show you here. So this is our for each activity, and inside of this activity, as you can see, it says for each item. So basically, this particular activity is going to use these items, right? In what? So in this number array, which we have created here. So here I'm going to mention my this variable in this field, right? So number array. And now what we want to perform on this arrays. So for this, I'm going to use simply write line activity here. And in this write line activity, you can type, let me type here something. So the length of array is, right? So the length of array is, and then use your plus sign, and here you can simply mention your variable. And to see the length of your particular variable, what you can do is put a dot here, and then you are able to see all the properties of your particular variable. And from here, let me select the length, because I want to see the length of my array, right? And then dot to string to convert this into a string. Then again, let me use a plus sign here, and inside of the quotation, let me type my string again, and contains Then again let me use plus sign to show the item. Let me simply mention item. So now let me open it from here. So this particular length is containing the items. Now let me convert the item also into a string, and plus sign again element. And now let me hit on OK from here. Save your process and run your file. Then now let me show you the output from the output panel, and as you can see the output is the length of array is 11, right? As you can see the length of array is 11 and contain 2 element, 3 element, 5 element, 13, all the elements. Let me show it from the beginning. So yeah, 1 1 2 3 5 8. This is the exactly these are the same items which I have used inside of my array variable, right? So this is how you can use for each activity, right? So now let me see what is the next activity. So the next activity is a break activity. As its name suggests, it is used to break a loop, right? So for example, let me first read this. The break activity is used to break or stop the loop at a particular point and then continue the next activity according to the requirement, right? So according to the requirement. Now let me show you this. So in our this example where I have show you how you can use the for each activity. Now let me use one break activity here only in the same example. So here I have this break activity from the control, right? Selective break activity, put it here, and now let me use one message box activity outside of my for each activity. Right, I'm using this activity outside of my for each activity. So this is my for each activity, and here I have this message box activity. Now let me type some message here. We are at task stage. Right. Let me save it and run my file. So we are at last stage, the message box, and now let me show you the output. So as you can see, the length of array is 11 and contain one element, right? So my loop is break after one time of execution, right? So this is how you can use the break activity basically to break your loop, right? So the next activity is switch activity, right? So the next activity is switch activity. So to show you how you can use the switch activity, I'm going to give you a very real-time example of a switch activity of how you can create a basic calculators, right? So how you can create a basic calculators, right? Let me create this file, and here I will show you how you can use your switch activity, right? So the very first thing I'm going to use here is input dialog box to ask the numbers from our user, and also I'm going to use one more input dialog box to ask what operation they want to perform on these two numbers, right? So here this is the process I'm creating to create a basic calculator, right? So here I'm going to write the label as enter your first number, enter your first number. Oh, sorry. Let me create one variable here to store my first number. For input dialog box 2, let me enter your second number. Create one variable here to store your second number. And for input dialog box 3, now let me show you that some different thing in this input dialog box 3. What here you can type is select your choice. Select your choice. So what choice? So for choice, let me click on this drop down item. So here now I am going to select this multiple choice, because here I want to provide the choices to my users, whether he want to perform addition, subtractions, multiplication. This is up to him only, right? So here I have to give the options to select from the options. So here you have the options. Now let me open these options from here, from this input dialog box activity, third input dialog box activity, and here I have to provide the options, right? So first use this curly braces, and inside of this you can type all the options you want to provide to your users, right? So here I want to provide the first option for addition, and as you know, this is the string value because I'm typing addition here, right? So let me put it inside of this double quotation and then use comma to separate your options, and then inside of the other quotation marks let me type subtraction, right? And then use comma to separate, use double quotation, and inside of this let me use other option, again comma and double quotation, use other options, right? Similarly, if you want to provide more than these options, you can by just putting commas to separate and put your other options inside of this double quotation, right? Now let me hit on OK, and here I'm going to create one more variable, and I'm going to name this variable as a calculate. So after this, now I'm going to use, now let me first minimize all these input dialog box activities, right? So we have used here 3 input dialog box activity, and after this I'm going to use my switch activity, right? So this is my switch activity, let me use it here, and here in the expression, I'm going to simply mention my variable which I have created in this input dialog box activity, right? So calculation, inside of this switch activity, expression is equal to calculation, which is basically the mean of this calculation is whatever the choices my user is going to select from here, it is going to check for that particular choice, right? So now we have this sections, as you can see, default section, add new cases, right? So here I'm going to create the cases. So add new case, I have to provide the name of this case. So here I want to create a case for addition if my user select the addition. So for this purpose I'm going to create an addition, right? So first let me convert the type argument of my switch activity, select your switch activity, and as you can see in the property of the switch activity, type argument is int 32, right? But this option is in the form of a string, because as you can see these are the character values, right? So for this purpose, first let me change the type argument from here. Let me delete this addition, select the switch activity, and from here let me change the type argument into the string, right? First, and then come back to the add new cases, and here let me create a case for addition. So now in this case it is going to check for the addition, right? So what else you can do is simply copy the addition from here, go back to your cases, and let me put the case here, right? So in the addition case I'm going to use a message works activity, and simply you can write your formula, which is number 1 plus number 2, and we have to convert this into a string because the type of our switch activity is also a string or toString. And then the add new case. So this time I want to create a case for if my user select the second choice, which is the subtraction, right? So the second choice is of subtraction. Let me go back. Let me create one more case here. Case 2 is for the subtraction, and inside of this case let me use other message box activity here, and simply we can type number 1 minus number 2. Close this bracket and then dot toString. Just let me type it again. So let me use number 1 minus number 2 in here dot and into I'm getting some error here. Type argument is a string, calculation is fine. Let me check the type of variables. Variables is also of type okay. Now let me change the type of these numbers. Integer, and let me change this type also of integer. Right? Then now in the addition is also fine. Now let me create the third case. So the third case is for multiplication because the third option is for the multiplication, right? So copy it, go back, and here let me add a new case for the multiplication, right? Again use message box activity here to perform the multiplication. So simply we have to type number 1 for the multiplication, use asterisk sign, number 2, and then dot toString. Now only one more case is left, right? So let me create one more case here for the division because I think the third option is of division, right? So now let me select the division from here, copy it, go back, and here let me create one more case here for the division, right? Then here also I'm going to use a message box activity, and inside of this message box activity mention your numbers, and for the division let me use the division sign here and number 2, and then dot toString. And so we have successfully created all the cases. Now the default case. What is the default case? Now let me use one message box here, and here let me type please select your choice. Right? Now let me save this process and let me run this file. So please enter your first number. Let me enter 4 here. Enter your second number. This time let me enter 4 again. And now select your choice. As you can see, this pop-up from the third input dialog box is different from our previous input dialog box, because here we have the option of this drop down, right? So here from these options I can select any of the operation which I want to perform on my numbers. So for example, let's suppose if I want to do the addition of 4 plus 4, select it, hit on OK, and you are getting this answer of is 8, right? Similarly, let me run this again. So enter your first number, let me enter 10. And let's suppose if your user will not enter any number in your second input dialog box, right? Or let me just simply close this input dialog box from here. Or let me give any number here. Let's suppose 20, right? And from here, from these choices, I'm not going to select any of these choice. What if your user is not going to select any of this choice and simply close this third input dialog box? So you are getting this message box from your default case. Please select your choice first, right? So this is the message box from the default case, right? So this is how you can create your own basic calculators, right? So now let me see. This is all about the switch activity. The next activity is a delay activity, and this is the last activities of our today's session. So how we can use the delay activity? So write a 2 messages to the output panel with the delay of 20 seconds, right? So this is a very easy example again. Let me show you the last example for a delay activity. So here I am going to use one delay activity first, then let me use one message box activity, and then again let me use one message box activity before this delay activity. So this is how you can use the delay activity. Simply let me type some message here. First message box. I'm first message box, right? And then delay. So here you have to provide a delay between these two message box activity. So here I am going to provide the format to provide the delay. The duration format is 00.00 and then 00, which is hour, minute, and second. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the format, right? In an hour, HH, then dot, and then mm, then ss, which is for the second, right? So in this same format, I'm going to provide the delay here in the duration section of my delay activity, which is 00 means 00 hour, and then minute, and here I'm going to provide the delay of 3 seconds. Let's suppose delay of 3 seconds, and then here I can write right here I'm a second message box. Simply save your process, and now let me run this file. So as you can see, message box, I am the first message box. Now let me open the time also, right? So as you can see, the time is 12, 25 and 26, 7. This is the seconds, right? Now let me hit an OK. And now after 3 seconds, you are getting this message box. I am the second message box, right? After 3 seconds, right? Now let me hit enter, and here let me show the output also. So as you can see, okay, so the time is not here, the execution time is only here, but you will get this message box after the 3 seconds of delay. Similarly, if you want to provide the 5 minutes delay, the expression you can write it like 5 seconds delay, and here 5.3, yani 5 seconds and 5 minute and 3 seconds delay, right? So this is how you can use your delay activity. These are the difference, and this is all about from my side for the today's session. Now please ask if you have any queries in any control flow activities or in any variables or argument.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request all the participants, if you have any doubt regarding today's session, they can ask.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Just I want to ask one question. In the previous example of case, switch statement.
Switch. Let me open switch activity. Yes, sir.
Okay, here you can take any case, maybe addition, subtraction. We are taken two numbers which are of integer,
Yes, sir.
and we are taken the result which you have taken as a string. So why we are taken that as a string, not an integer?
Okay. So, see, sir. Here, in this basic calculator example, I want to perform the additions. So, this is a very obvious thing that you need a numbers from your user. So, that's why I have selected the type of these two input dialog box variable as a integer type, right? But sir, here if you will notice in this options I have right here addition, subtractions, multiplication, division. We all know that the addition means that this is going to perform the addition, but sir, the word here, the word is not in the form of an integer, the word is in the form of a string here, right? This option is in the form of a string, sir. Addition is a character value, again the subtraction is a character,
Okay. So
multiplication
you
is a
are taken these options, and because
options
of
as a
that you
string.
have taken for string.
Yes, sir.
Means we have not taken here third variable where we are storing the addition first.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So basically, that's why this is the reason why I select the type of this switch activity also in the string, because these options are of the form of string, right? That's why the type of this type argument of my switch activity is also in the string, right? Similarly, if you want to change these options, for example, if
We
you
can
don't
take the
want,
third variable also, na? Okay, we are keeping the options as a string,
yes,
but
sir.
you are directly doing the addition over there.
Yes, sir.
So can we take third variable where we are storing the addition first of one variable one and variable two, and then we are storing printing that result?
Yes, we can do that also. Basically,
Okay.
if you want to add somewhere, if you want to store this particular variable somewhere, the value of this variable, you can do that also.
Okay.
Okay, any other doubts?
So now I conclude today's session. Uh, on behalf of CSC and ENTC Department of NMCOE PET and entire management, I am very hearty gratitude to our speaker, Miss Shubhra Dubey ma'am, for sharing their graceful words and knowledge with us for today's session. I am thankful to all the participants for attending today's session. Uh, Tomorrow's session will start sharp at 10:30 a.m. So all should join in time. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Have a good day.